Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. Welcome to another episode, a special episode of the Unstoppable Story Show. It is the Unstoppable Author Showcase. I'm your host, Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and the Unstoppable Author Showcase is where we highlight a author for not only their book, but who they are so that you can get not only their glory, but you'll understand their story. And today is no different. Today, we want to introduce you to one of my good friends, Brenda Ring Wood. She's one of the co-authors of the book, You Are UnStopABLE. And she's doing a phenomenal thing, and she's going to tell you all about it. So let's introduce her to our audience, Miss Brenda Ring Wood. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, Terrence, Mr. Unstoppable, Coach T, all of the above.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good, good, good. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending a little time with us here on the Unstoppable Author Showcase. Now, you are a part of this phenomenal book. This book is called You Are UnStopABLE. Tell us a little bit about who you are before we start talking about the book.
You know, it's funny you asked me that because up until a few years ago, I did not know who I was. I thought I was living life for all the right reasons and for all the right people and making all the right choices, and it turned out I was not. So I had to reevaluate myself, and I had to see exactly what it was that I wanted to do in life and who I really wanted to be. Kind of that in a nutshell. I'm sure we'll cover some of the other parts of it here in a little bit.
Yes, yes. And when you think about that, you think about figuring out who you are. Sometimes it really is too late for some people. They look at that dash in their life from when they were born to when they were ending, and they don't take that time to really figure out who they are on that line. And so they end up getting to the end of time, not knowing who they are, and more importantly, not knowing what they were sent here to do. But that's not your story. You've got a very interesting chapter in the book, and it's going across the screen right now. It's talking a little bit about move past it and get moving. So tell us, what does that title mean to you when you think about It's Never Too Late? Moving past it and getting moving.
Well, you know, I had some personal experience with myself and what happened in my past, what happened in my life, what happened just in general, you know, thinking back to my first job, to my marriage, to my kids, to my corporations that I had, just everything in life that I thought I was. And I found out that that wasn't the case. And, you know, we just did an event and you talked about your tongue in your mouth matching the tongue in your shoes. And that wasn't going on for me. My mouth was saying one thing and my feet were doing something else. So, I had to really stop and evaluate where I was at. And unfortunately, it took a jail cell for me to have that evaluation. You know, I thought I was living the life that I wanted. And in fact, I was really doing it for everybody else but myself, which made me miserable, made me unhappy. And it actually backed me into a corner. And you know what happens when you get backed into a corner? So you make some decisions and you're doing things for survival instead of not necessarily doing things that are right. So I had to reevaluate going forward when I was sitting in a jail cell facing 30 years of prison, which at that time, just coming out of cancer, was a life sentence because I was 46 years old. So
Yeah.
life sentence. Yeah.
No matter how old you are, when you face the possibility of decades behind bars, I'm sure that has to have a numbing effect, a chilling effect, and a sobering effect, especially when you first go in. But as you tell us about your story, we learned that what man made for bad, God actually made for good. So here I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then we're going to lead up to what you actually wrote about. But why did you feel it was important for you to be a part of this book project, the It's Never Too Late book project?
Well, just you just said it, because it's never too late. I basically didn't do 30 years, obviously, because I'm sitting here talking to you, but I had to start a new career. And I was sitting here thinking, what am I going to do with my life after the age of 50 years old? And for me, never too late. It can be about anything, because I didn't even go back to college till I was 32, and it took me 8 years to graduate. 8 years, because I had life. I had 4 children. I had a business. I was married. I had a life. So it just took longer than the average Joe to do it, but I did. I did finish it. So it's just really never too late to do and set your mind to stuff, and then go out and do it. So one of my favorite songs when I speak is called "Move," and it's about soldier keep marching, because that's what you need to do. If you never take that first step, you're never going to go anywhere. And in my case, it wasn't my first step. It was probably my 50th, 60th, 70th step, but it's getting me to where I needed to go. I could have did the woe is me, self-pity, what am I going to do? And I said, no, we're not going to do that, because your life is your choice. Your life is your decision. And it's never too late to step up and step out to do that.
I love it. We're talking with Brenda Ring Wood. She is one of the co-authors in the book, You Are Unstoppable. It's never too late. You can see it behind my shoulder. You can also see it behind her shoulder. So we've got our copies. And later on in this broadcast, we're going to tell you how you can get a signed copy from Brenda, so that you can hear more about her actual chapter in the book. Now, her chapter in the book is called Move Past It and Get Moving. And we, just for the audience, the book is about never too late stories. The book is a compilation of 6 different authors that talk about their never too late story, a time or a moment in their life where they thought it was too late for them to do more, have more, or to be more. But out of the blue, by the grace of God, however you want to look at it, they were able to live their never too late story. And so now I can only imagine, Brenda, as the bars closed behind you and incarceration began, that you probably had a couple of those days where you thought it was too late for you to do more, have more, or be more. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's challenging. It's mental. It's you and yourself, and you are alone. You have nobody there that you can talk to. You're in a situation, and my situation was different than 95% of the other people that were in there, because it was primarily for drugs and uh, things like that. So mine was not at that level. However, I was going to do more time than some of these people that were in there. Some of these people who had molested children, they were wanting me to do more time than some of this. So I was just trying to wrap my head around what in the world is going on. What did I do to get myself into this? And then how the heck am I going to get out of it? And really, there was nothing I could do. There was not a single thing that I could do, except for the mindset to say, no more. You're going to evaluate yourself. You're going to change your mindset. You're going to redirect what you're going to do in your life. And I immediately went to the Bible, to the Word of God. I was a believer as a young girl, and life just gets in the way, and things happen. And I knew what I needed to do, but I was still struggling with that. I sat there for a good year, absolutely mad at the world, blaming everybody else. And then one day the light just came on and said, no more. You're not going to feel sorry for yourself. You're going to take your punishment. You're going to take responsibility for your actions, and you're going to move. You're going to take that step forward to become the person that you've always needed to be, who you've wanted to be, and what your purpose is. And if that purpose is sitting in a jail cell, then that purpose is that. But there were still people around me. And I've always had a thing to really want to help people, but life gets in the way, right? And then other things happen, and then you think you're helping. In reality, you're not. You've gotten too busy, and you think you're going to do all these great things, and you don't. So you're just running that rat race of corporate America, of your family life, of whatever's happening, and you're never doing anything to change. And I said, no more. No more. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to step forward, regardless if it's helping myself and others here behind the wall, or if it's out in public. And to be honest with you, when I did finally get out, I kind of digressed back into, oh no, what are people going to think? What are they going to say if they see me? The humiliation, everything that goes along with that. And my mother kind of, slapped me upside the head, not really, but said, "You're doing this time, get over this. That's not you anymore. You've done your time. You've served your sentence." And in reality, it was just a small group of people that were feeling the bad way against me, or whatever you want to say it. And to this day, there's still some haters out there, but that's okay. I'm still going to do me. I'm still going to do what the Lord has called me to do. And then my son said, "Mom, why don't you go back into speaking? You really, I enjoy hearing you speak. Maybe that's something you could do." So anyways, while I was behind the walls, the barbed wire and the iron and the concrete and the metal, because there's nothing soft about prison, I wrote 3 books. I said, "I'm not going to let
Wow.
this be a waste of my time." Mhm.
And it's amazing what can happen when you change your mindset. A mentor of mine says that wherever you are in life, your mind got there first. And you were looking at, when you went in, 30 years. But once you changed your mindset, it was almost, I won't say it was instantaneously, but when they read the chapter in your book, they'll see that 30 years, because you changed your mindset, morphed into just 44 months,
Good.
almost less than half the time that you were originally sentenced, all because you decided to surrender,
Mhm.
move past what got you in there, and you got moving on what you could do while you were in there. Is that
Right.
pretty much a good synopsis of it?
It absolutely is, because had I waited to do it after I got out, my books would just now be going to the publisher, if even. Because
If
it takes
even.
a lot of time
Yes,
to write a book, to get it edited, to get it ready for marketing. So I was already a step ahead. Not only did I do that, I learned how to draw in there out of sheer boredom. I
okay.
made use of every spare minute of time. So now I can use that to bless others. I create logos for some people. I can cartoon them. I can take their a picture of them and make it look somewhat realistic, and then kind of turn it into a cartoon if they want to use that for a logo. And then I can draw wildlife and scenery, and people's not my best subject. That's why I turn them into cartoons. But anyways, I
Okay.
learned how to do some things that I never would have thought or taken the time to do. I
Absolutely.
didn't do before.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I know you probably knew some other people that were incarcerated at the same time, and they probably didn't take those same advantages. One of our good friends talks about, instead of wasting time, make every second count. And
Yes.
that sounds like what happened when you decided to change your mind. You were able to change your thinking, and you were able to change your situation. You were able to learn some new skills that are serving you well now that you're on the other side of the barbed wire and the concrete. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the other thing that's so important about that is, not only was I writing books and reading, studying the Bible, drawing, I was listening to Christian radio, I was listening about radio station, hearing sermons. I was remembering things from all my years of studying the Bible. See, I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I just wasn't applying it. I was making excuses as to why not. But then I decided, I'm going to do what God wants me to do. After all, that's my main reason why I'm here. God put me here for a purpose, which is to glorify Him. I mean, that's exactly why we're here. But we're also supposed to share the word of Christ and to bring others to Christ. So when I was younger, I thought I wanted to do missions. And my husband said, "No, we're not doing that." 4 little kids, it was going to be hard to do that. Well, I got the answer to that prayer. Unfortunately, it was behind a prison wall. But it really wasn't unfortunate, because I got to meet some really cool people. I got to build some relationships with real people. They weren't judging me because they were in the same boat. I got some great advice. I got to grow spiritually. I got to grow, my mindset to a level that it was never at before. And I created some friendships, and I was able to share the gospel. And there was some real change, not only in my life, but in their life, that they are still showing today. And some of the same miracles that happened with me has happened with them.
And it's a beautiful thing. And if you're watching this broadcast right now, then that means God wants you to hear Brenda's story, and God wants you to read Brenda's story. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to purchase your copy of You Are Unstoppable. It's never too late, so that you can read Brenda's chapter along with 5 other amazing authors in this book that are talking about their never too late story. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to ask Brenda some more questions about her contributions, not only to the book, but to the world universal. But first, we're going to play you a clip from Brenda talking about the book, It's Never Too Late. And here it is right now.
I am honored to have been part of a phenomenal book of stories called It's Never Too Late. I've been asked to co-author this book because my story itself is unstoppable. It is a success story, along with many other people who have overcome challenges in their life. They too have unstoppable stories. This book will motivate you, inspire you, and help you move forward past any obstacle that is holding you back, because you too are unstoppable if you choose to be. It's never too late to change. You're never too old. You're never too young. You're never too broke. You're never too rich. If you want true change, it is possible. It's never too late to get educated. It's never too late to get the experience you want. It's never too late to become a better you. Get this book. Go get it. It's never too late.
All right. I just love the quiet confidence that comes from Brenda Ring Wood. And she's hanging out with us here on a special edition of the Unstoppable Story Show, the Unstoppable Author Showcase. She's one of the many authors in this phenomenal book, You Are Unstoppable. It's Never Too Late. She's got her picture on the book, and you want to get her story so that you can learn how to move past it and get moving in your own life. So we're going to join back to the conversation. I wanted to look at some of the comments that are coming. We've got a comment from your good friend, Charles Princeton, otherwise known as Uncle Chuck to us who know him. Our journey is to gain knowledge along the way and share the lessons we've learned. Absolutely. And we've got a user from Facebook that's enjoyed your story. And let's see what other comments we got. From Michelle Custer, she says, it's beautiful what you have done. Blessed to know you, Brenda, and Mr. Unstoppable as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, if you haven't purchased your book already, you'll go ahead and purchase that book today. So Brenda, we talked a little bit about the book. And what I usually do is I ask people if they want to read an excerpt from their chapter. It's completely up to you, or I could just pick something real quick from your chapter as well. So what do you want to do?
Well, I'd say you got to go by the book.
Okay.
We'll let Terrence read a little something.
Okay. So let's see. We'll just let's talk from the beginning where you told about your story. You said I could remember when I first enrolled in beauty school. I was nope. Get to the right page. Get to the right page.
Although I did go to beauty school when I was younger. Mm-hmm.
And you know what, you do talk about in the book that you did a lot of things, and you learned some lessons. So you said in the lessons, at 50 years old, less than half of my life was over. And what did I have to show for it? And then you had the epiphany that said you had everything because you had Jesus. Mm-hmm. You learned some hard lessons in 44 months behind bars. And the most was to never underestimate the power of the Holy Spirit, never to underestimate the power of a changed person, and to never underestimate yourself. Let's touch on that last part because, people who have never been incarcerated behind the bars and the cement, there are a lot of people that have still been incarcerated in their mind and they underestimate themselves. Why do you think people underestimate themselves? And why do you feel it's so important to never underestimate yourself?
I don't think people give themselves enough credit for what they're capable of. And you don't have to go through a tragedy or anything like I did to realize that you have a value and a worth. And then the next thing that people do is they worry too much about what other people are going to say and what they're going to think. And you know what? They don't pay your bills. They don't live your life. If it's not your spouse and somebody that you are living with on a daily basis that contributes to your household, what other people think and say doesn't matter. And I heard this and it's kind of crazy to think of it that way, but what other people think about you is really none of your business. So think of that.
I love it. I love it. They give horses in racehorses, they give them blinders for a reason on both sides of their eyes. Because if they didn't have the blinders, they'd constantly be looking at what the other horse was doing. And research, yes, research has shown that if you spend more time looking at what the other person is doing, then you unconsciously lose that race instead of just focusing on where you're going and let other people focus on where they want to go as well. So I love that. And I love that you say never underestimate yourself, because if you decide to move past everything you've been through and you truly decide to focus on where you are, then you'll be surprised with the things that you can do and the power that will be unleashed inside of you for your never too late story.
That's right.
So, Brenda, let me ask you this. What do you want any reader who's going to pick up your book, read your chapter? What do you want them to gain from reading your book?
I want them to know that if they want to go after their dream, their hopes, that it's possible. You could always go get the education. You can always find the money for the stuff you want to do if you say, I'll never be able to afford it. But most importantly, find out right here. Find out what it is that you want to do. Find out who you are and then apply it to your life. Don't let others stop you. You are you. Nobody else is like you. You are your biggest asset. So use it. Whatever it is that it is, go out and do it. Start it. One little tiny step. If you try to jump over rivers, you're never going to make it. You're going to fall in. But if you use the little stepping stones across it, you're going to get there quickly and safely. It might take you a little bit longer, so you think, but you're going to get there. And that's the main goal. Take that first step. You have a value. You have a worth. Get out there and do it. Show other people what you're made of. Don't let them tell you.
I love it. She's just dropping nuggets down here. And that's why you've got to get a copy of the book, You Are Unstoppable. It's never too late. And check out her chapter, Move Past It and Get Moving. Now, I know you've sold a couple of copies already and you've gotten some feedback. What have some of your fans been saying about your chapter that you've heard so far?
A lot of people said, I don't have the mindset to do what you did. And I said, I didn't either. It was a choice. It was a choice to change my mind and to sometimes blinders in our world for the horse, it's great when you've got to focus. But if you put the blinders on that stops you from seeing, now that's completely different. So you got to be careful about what you're putting in front of you and what you're looking at and what your goals are. And I could easily let my blinders, not even my blinders, my blindfold be the haters and the people who say she's never changed. She's still going to be that same person. Look what she did. How dare you? How can you be friends with somebody like that? Oh, just wait. It's about to happen again. She's going to go back. I don't listen to any of that because first and foremost, I'm not that person anymore. And second, when you have Christ, you are changed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I love about this book is that it talks about, just like your chapter, it talks about many different things that you have to move past. Sometimes you've got to move past the situation.
Mhm.
Other times you got to move past the people in those situations. You mentioned earlier that when you came out, it was almost kind of easy to try to go back to the
Mhm.
person you was before because that's what people were expecting. That
Mhm.
crabs in a barrel mentality that just want to continue to pull you back down to where they are because they're not ready or willing or able to rise up to where they need to be. So I'm so glad that you were able to say to your readers, the ones that said they didn't have the mindset to do it, that at one point you didn't either.
Mhm.
I love this quote by Nelson Mandela that says that everything is impossible until it's done.
Mhm.
And for you, it might have felt impossible until you did it. And
Mhm.
for the people who are reading your chapter, they may feel that it may be impossible for them to change their mindset. It may be impossible for them to move past it, but then they'll read your chapter and they'll recognize that if Brenda could do it,
Mhm.
then maybe they can too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do anything you put your mind to. Absolutely. And, then I realized too that people needed to hear my story, not the incarceration part or what I did wrong or how I move forward. They needed to hear the story that change is possible. That's what the story is. Change is possible if you really want it. Then I realized that you can continue to do what you're doing, still earn an income with it, and doing what you love by helping others. So we created this movement called Becoming the Best You Can Be. This year it's overcoming challenges. Next year it might be about breakthroughs. Who knows? But it's about becoming the best person that you could be. And that is little tiny steps, not jumping rivers.
Yes, they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step.
That's
And so
right.
just be that first step. And hey, if you're going to take that first step, step in a puddle because that step you make is going to have a ripple effect.
Mhm.
And that ripple of your one step is going to turn into somebody else's wave. And then that wave is going to get caught by somebody else. And then you're going to be creating a tsunami of change just by you taking that one step. Move
Absolutely.
past it and get moving. That's what Brenda says to you. And Brenda should know because Brenda is a multiple time author. And I'm just so glad that she is a part of our book, You Are Unstoppable. It's never too late. We're going to put that up on the screen so that you can see the book cover big and bright. And as we're doing that, Brenda, by now people have heard you, they've seen the passion in your voice, they know that this is a read that they want to have. So how can they get a signed copy of the book from you?
Just reach out to me. I am everywhere. Brenda Ringwood. Just Facebook, LinkedIn, even my email, brendaringwood@gmail.com. Give me a shout out. I'll be happy to take care of you with that. Not only that, I'd love to talk to you about your story. I want to know what's going on in your life. I want to know what your hopes and dreams are. And let's see if we can get you there. Let's change your mindset. Let's move forward. Let's get moving. Because if you don't move, you're stuck. You're not going anywhere.
So we're going to put your email address up on the screen so that they can get that in this information. You just simply reach out to her. Go to Brenda Ring Wood at gmail.com. Let her know you want to get a signed copy of the book. She'll reach back out to you because she not only wants to give you a book, she wants to build a relationship to help you be accountable to moving past whatever has been holding you back so that you can get moving towards the purpose that you were created. Now, for everybody else, again, maybe you don't want a signed copy, but you do want a book. Well, we got it on Amazon as well. There's the link right there on the screen. You can go to Amazon.com and get your copy of the book. Just like I got my copy, You Are Unstoppable. It's never too late. We've got great stories in here. Of course, one of the greatest ones is from our guest today, Brenda Ring Wood, but you definitely want to get that book to hear her story. But while you got the book, read the other people's stories too, because they will motivate you to recognize that you have a never too late story as well. So I'm just looking to see if we've got any other comments real quick before we give you the final word. We've got Isabel Luz Camacho Black saying a tsunami of change. Absolutely. We've got Charles Princeton saying change is possible. And he's also saying we all need to talk story. It releases the poison from within us. And so we're going to leave the comments there. And we're going to thank you, Brenda, for spending some time with us and showcasing not only the book, but you and the beautiful things that you're doing. You got any final thoughts, or you want to talk about any other things you have coming up now that you've got this book out there and it's ready to be unleashed on the universe?
There's several things we've got doing. I'm partnering with some wonderful people, including Mr. Leffridge. We're going to start a Facebook group with some mastermind training on how to become the best speaker that you can be, if that's what you want to do. And then if not, if you just want to follow us, we've got a couple of other little things coming up. We've got a women's event coming up. It's probably going to be done virtually and in person here in Kansas City, June 10th and 11th. And then we have a virtual BTBY, Becoming the Best You, coming up July 9th, 8th and 9th, maybe. We'll give away those nuggets later. And then we are going to be in person again with the Becoming the Best You conference in St. Louis, October 21st through the 23rd. We've got lots in store for you there. We've got a up and coming Diamonds and Whiskey band, country music, coming to play for you. She's going to tell her story. Not only is she a cancer survivor, she's just had a lot of things happen in her life. She's changed her mindset. And my story isn't always about prison. My story is a changed mindset. I could have let prison hold me back, but I didn't. That's a mindset. So what's holding you back? And why are you allowing it? That's what I want to know. Why are you allowing stuff to hold you back?
I love it. I love it. And so you can see on the screen that if you want to get more information about that event coming up in October, the live event, go to comechangeyourlife.com. If you want to get a personalized copy of the book, You Are Unstoppable, It's Never Too Late, then reach out to Brenda directly at her Gmail account, BrendaRingWood@gmail.com. Well, Brenda, we could talk all day, but I want them to stop listening and start emailing you and start going over to Amazon and getting a copy of this book so that they can move past it and get moving in their life. But before we go, I just want to thank you for sharing some time with us, and just thank you for making the choice to change your mind, to get past it, and to get moving. Because of you, many people are going to get past whatever they have to get past, and they're going to create their never too late story as well. So blessings to you and good vibes, and congratulations on all the success that you're going to have in your future. Okay?
Well, that's appreciated. I thank you for all the support that you continue to give. I mean, you just continue to pour out love, and that says a lot about you.
All right. Well, that's Brenda Ring Wood, the co-author of the book, You Are Unstoppable. It's Never Too Late. And hey, maybe you are an up and coming author. Maybe you have a book that you need to showcase. Maybe you need help and assistance in getting your message out to the masses. Well, we offer you the opportunity to be a guest on the Unstoppable Author Showcase show as well. Simply text 312-313-0241, the words Unstoppable Author Showcase, just like you see it on the screen. And someone from the team will reach out to you, get more information about your book and your story. And who knows, you may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Author Showcase. Once again, I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge. This has been a special edition of the Unstoppable Story Show, the Unstoppable Author Showcase with Brenda Ring Wood. And in parting, as I always say, wherever you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Go out, change your mind, create your never too late story, then make it an unstoppable day. Take care.